logic arguments can be categorized into various types based on their structure, form, and the relationships between premises and conclusions. Some common types of logic arguments include deductive arguments, inductive arguments, abductive arguments, and analogical arguments. Deductive arguments are a type of logical argument where the conclusion necessarily follows from the premises. In other words, if the premises are true, then the conclusion must also be true. Deductive arguments are often represented in the form of syllogisms, which consist of two premises and a conclusion. For example, all humans are mortal, premise 1. Socrates is a human, premise 2. Therefore, Socrates is mortal, conclusion. Deductive arguments are considered to be valid or invalid based on the logical structure of the argument. Inductive arguments, on the other hand, are a type of logical argument where the conclusion is supported by the premises but does not necessarily follow from them. Inductive arguments are probabilistic in nature, meaning that the conclusion is likely to be true based on the premises. For example, the sun has risen every day in the past, therefore, the sun will rise tomorrow. Inductive arguments are evaluated based on their strength and relevance of the premises to the conclusion. Abductive arguments, also known as inference to the best explanation, are a type of logical argument where the conclusion is the best explanation for the observed evidence. Abductive reasoning involves identifying the most plausible explanation for a given set of facts or observations. For example, if a detective observes footprints in the snow leading to a broken window, the best explanation may be that someone broke into the house. Abductive arguments are used to infer the most likely explanation for a given situation. Analogical arguments are a type of logical argument where the conclusion is based on the similarities between two or more cases. Analogical arguments involve comparing two situations or objects and inferring that because they are similar in certain respects, they are likely to be similar in other respects as well. For example, birds have feathers, lay eggs, and fly. Bats have wings, give birth to live young, and fly. Therefore, bats are similar to birds. Analogical arguments rely on the principle of analogy to draw conclusions. Each type of logic argument has its strengths and weaknesses, and the choice of argument type depends on the specific context and goals of the argument. Deductive arguments are useful for proving the validity of a conclusion based on the premises, while inductive arguments are useful for making generalizations and predictions based on observed evidence. Abductive arguments are useful for identifying the best explanation for a given set of facts, and analogical arguments are useful for drawing parallels between different cases. In summary, logic arguments can be categorized into deductive, inductive, abductive, and analogical arguments based on their structure and relationship between premises and conclusions. Each type of argument has its own characteristics and applications, and understanding the differences between them can help in constructing and evaluating logical arguments effectively.